Big game, that would be Harvard versus Yale this weekend. The second half was delayed because of a student climate protest. They simply invaded the field and stopped the game. This is a good opportunity to bring in legendary football coach Lou Holtz. Lou, I know you saw what happened there at the big game. What's your reaction to it?
I thought it was absurd for them to interrupt the game. They came out on the field after the band got done playing. But let's remember this. This was for the Ivy League championship, and they don't have lights there. By delaying the game, it ended up being 4 hours, 40 minutes. They almost had to finish it in dark. And here's the amazing thing. Everybody's talking about the sit-in. They should be talking about the great game. Yale's down by 17 in the fourth quarter, and they scored 2 touchdowns in 88 seconds. Kurt throws 2 touchdown passes. They end up winning double overtime. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about climate change, and you did absolutely nothing to change the situation with the climate.
The trouble is, you're probably going to see this kind of thing again because of all the publicity that the climate protest has generated by stopping the game. It's going to happen again, isn't it?
It probably will, but the one thing that will help it prevent it is 40-some students were arrested. I hope they were put in jail. I hope they're fine, because you're right to swing your fist ends where the other guy's nose begins. That's what Harry Truman said. And what gives you the right to come in and disrupt this game when there's 70,000 people in stands looking forward to the game? This is a great game. It's a national game. Harvard versus Yale.
Yeah, but wait a second. I think you and I are somewhat similar vintage, okay? Pretty much, very similar. Do you often feel that people like us, we're not really part of this brave new world? I mean, it's moved away from us. You ever feel that? Well,
absolutely. I'm older than you. My birthday candles cost more than the cake. I remember when they said, oh, boy, we're going to have global warming. I mean, global cooling. Everything's going to freeze up. And then it was global warming. Now it's climate change. I don't see much difference from the time I was 10 years of age. It gets warm in the summer, it gets cold in the winter. And let's remember, the Earth goes around the sun, not in a perfect circle, but in an elliptical. So there are going to be times we're going to be warmer, they're going to be colder, depending upon where we go around. Nobody's convinced me that global warming or everything they're talking about is going to make it any better. What about China? What about India? They do nothing. Yet you want us to get rid of all gas, all coal, everything else, and fly by the sunlight? I don't think so. I'm just one of these skeptics, but then again, that's just because you and I are the same vintage, and I've seen it go through the transition.
It was a good vintage, Lou. Let's never forget that. It was a wonderful vintage.
No.
Now, here's another one for you. Washington Redskins quarterback. I know you've seen this, but let's repeat it. Dwayne Haskins. He missed the final play of his first win because he was taking selfies with the fans. Now, former Redskins quarterback Joe Theismann, he said this: How do you miss the last snap of a game because you're taking selfies? That's unprofessional and wrong. So, Lou, what would you say? What would you do? How mad would you be if you were a coach of that game?
I would be very mad. I remember when Rocket Ismail scored his first touchdown in Notre Dame, he went in the end zone and high-fived everybody in the front row. I called him over and I said, Rocket, if you want to be in the stands, go buy a doggone ticket. You want to play, you come back here. Either you're a player or you're a spectator. And maybe that's the reason why that he wasn't chosen until the 13th player. He's a very talented individual. But let's have our priorities right. This is a team game. You just intercepted a pass, set up the winning touchdown, win 19-6. You got to be there to celebrate with your teammates. This is not about you. I feel the same way Joe Theismann does, only probably a little stronger.
I got the feeling that you wouldn't mind getting back into a coaching role. What do you say?
You know, if I went back into coaching, I'd be a better coach than I've ever been before, because with the young millennials today, you don't lower the standard. But what you say is not as important as your tone of voice. Your tone of voice is not as important as your facial expression. So I would say to Haskins, that was the dumb thing to do. You have no idea how mad I am, but you're going to find out on Monday, and you're going to find out how much you're going to get fined. But you're smiling and you're speaking in a soft tone. But don't lower the standards. Let's remember this is a team game. You have an obligation to your teammates. You should be celebrating with them.
That's really good stuff. Lou Holtz, you are all right, sir. Thanks for joining us as always, and we'll see you again. Promise. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.